1979 to 2002, I never seen a doctor for anything. I was healthy until 2002 when this crap started hitting. Now they're asking for medical records for 1979 to 2002, which I never went to the doctor, and the medical records before that time, the doctors are all gone.
Presumptive Agent Orange?
Pardon?
Is it a presumptive Agent Orange illness that you're being affected by?
PTSD, yeah.
Oh, what they're looking on PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, is were you treated for it? Were you ever diagnosed with it? And you're exactly right. A lot of these vets that came back, World War II vets, Korean vets, Vietnam, you came back out of service, you just went to work. You went to work, you got a job, went on a farm, whatever you did, and you pressed on with your life. And you had stuff wrong with it. Your family always told you you weren't the same guy or gal that you were when you went overseas, but you are who you are. It's after you retire and you're not working anymore, and then this stuff is not kept in check anymore. You're not able to keep all this down. So you start having the signs and symptoms of this post-traumatic stress start manifesting themselves. You might try to tell you sort of dementia going on, but maybe something else. So the VA wants to know when you were diagnosed with this, who diagnosed you with this, and why is it happening all of a sudden? Why are you getting it now? It doesn't matter. All you got to show that you were in country, you witnessed some kind of combat, so they look and say, what did you do? If I was a clerk in a mailroom, I probably didn't see any combat. If I was in a unit that was involved in combat, or I saw casualties, or I saw something that would disturb me, that's when they go back and look at what was your MOS, where were you stationed. They get the unit report, say, yeah, you guys did see combat. You were, or if you had a combat infantry badge, or you have something like that that shows that you did it, then they have to be presumed that this post-traumatic stress you have now was more related. And you don't have to dig up all that stuff. The VA is supposed to say, get it if you can, but if you were never treated for it, and you got now, you go see somebody and say, I got PTSD, I'm diagnosed. So, and then here's another frustrating part, is you go to one side of the VA, the medical side, and you get treated, and you get diagnosed with PTSD, and then you go and file a claim, and you go down to Valley Creek and see some idiot, some guy for about 15 minutes who says you don't have it. But then you try to say, well, wait a minute, your doctors just said I didn't treat me for it, and you're sitting here in 15 minutes and telling me that I don't have it because I'm not answering the right questions, or I'm not grabbing you by the throat trying to choke you and show that I got some problems. So that's the frustrating part. It's getting better. It is really getting better. So you just got to say, get diagnosed into the VA system, combat vet, has to be evaluated. You're diagnosed with PTSD, file that claim, and it'll go back to the date that you filed the claim.
Yeah, it was my family doctors diagnosed it. The VA doctors diagnosed it.
Yep.
And I had a skin condition right after I came home, big open sores, and I went to a specialist in Muskegon. When I went to get the records, he died 20 years ago. All his records are gone. And there's no way of proving anything,
And you don't have any residuals from that now, so that's probably tough to do. But they're going to look at what you currently have, and then you have, and those are presumptive conditions. I think these kids coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan are already up to about 8 or 9 different conditions that they're already saying, if you got this, that's where you got it from. This end of discussion, it should fast track. And that's another thing about it. If you file a claim under Agent Orange, whatever else, and you got one of these presumptive conditions, and here's the diagnosis, some individuals should be able to sit there and say, this one's coming through, here it is, he's got PTSD, and here's the diagnosis, he's in combat, boom, adjudicate it. Don't wait a year, 9 months to tell this individual that, you finally got through the stat. It's overloaded. The system is just literally overloaded. That's the bad part.
They also send you your letter that says you don't have medical proof. Well, how many of us that were in combat went to doctors when we were out? And they say you have no medical records of seeing that doctor when you were in
Or give you an affidavit
then they refuse
somebody
you.
who was there with you. And with most of the guys, you didn't know that. You know, it was a nickname, or you never know. You might know a mistake there, but you gave him a nickname. You couldn't find it. It's frustrating. It really is.
The biggest problem, when you get out of the military, when you have that last physical, they've got a clean bill of health. They don't write anything down. So when you do get your medical records, there's nothing there. You're as healthy as a Of course.
Yeah, and then that's happening to kids right now. They're coming home, and then they're saying, you want to go through an outpatient physical, you want to get all the stuff done, or you just want to go home? I want to go home, I haven't seen my family in years. Okay, you're done. And then you're down the road, you go file a claim for your medical record, and you say, well, you never said anything on your out processing physical. You didn't say you had any kind of back problems, or stress problems, or anxiety problems, or anything. Sometimes we're on work end, and we thought about doing that. So, you know, it's frustrating. It's frustrating.
Yeah, I'd like to know that. I had 11 years in, got hurt, sent home, and I was in back there on a Saturday morning, about 8 o'clock in the morning, getting plastered. In walks the DAB rep, and we starts talking. He said, well, what'd you get this for? I explained. He said, well, you're covered under that. Why haven't we filed with VA? Didn't have the slightest idea what VA was. So he took the information down. He says, fine, sign this power of attorney, don't call me for a year. I didn't. I was out in Arizona working. I get a letter. I get 80%. Okay, about a month later, I get another letter saying, you are eligible for 100%. Well, like a stupid idiot, I write on that form, I am working, I don't feel I rate 100%. Kick myself in the ass now. Anyway, I was trying to be honest, I was working. Yeah. But what we're trying to do here is set up in this county something that other guys that come and home don't have to.
Where do I go?
Yeah, and the thing of it is, it don't have to be haphazard. But, you know, if I wouldn't have been in there getting smashed that morning, you know, I never got it. Because I wouldn't have known.
Our biggest draw in Muskegon is another veteran coming and getting help and bringing another veteran in with them. That's the word of mouth, that's what you, but you gotta have a place to go.
That's right.
You need, every county, and I'll say it again, I'm going to try and again, every county should have some kind of an office or some kind of an individual, whether you need it once in a week or every single day. In Muskegon, I have about 3 times a VFW, but I have every week a service officer from the American Legion, one from the VFW, and one from the DAP. And these guys are booked out a month in advance. That's how far they're booked. That's how many people are coming. They're coming from your county, they come from Oceana County, Owl County, Mason, Lake. They come from all over the place. And they shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to leave your county. Now, and we get back to the county, I know you guys have struggled up here. Ottawa County has too. They come to me, I send all kinds of information out, what we did to Muskegon. It worked for us. There's laws on the books in the state of Michigan that says you can...
Dave, I'm sorry, but these people can't hear you.
There are laws on the book, the state of Michigan, that says your county can levy a millage to provide soldiers relief. The state says you got to do 3 things. You've got to provide soldiers relief for wartime veterans. You've got to provide county burial allowance for a wartime vet and their spouse if you qualify. $25,000 assets and blah, blah, blah. And the county also has to make, if the government headstone comes to your county, the county has to pay to have that headstone placed in the cemetery. The state has mandated every single county does those 3 things. So what we did in Muskegon County, we wanted to form a county department of Veterans Affairs, which is another law that says you can do that. But it doesn't tell you how you're going to get the money for that. It just says, just do it. And so a lot of the counties go out of their general fund budget, and they form a county, and they do what they want to do kind of thing. In Muskegon County, what we did, we went ahead and we said to the Attorney General, said, can we collect that millage under 214 for soldiers relief and expand the use to pay for the County Department of Veterans Affairs? And he said, only if you ask for general approval. So we went back to our county commissioners and said, we got a great plan. We want to collect this millage under 214, and we want to expand the use to form a County Department of Veterans Affairs and be able to fund it. We showed them how much money we were going to save from the general fund and blah, blah, blah. I had 7 commissioners at the time, 3 of them, and it was election year. At first, nobody wanted to stand up and say, okay, I'm going to endorse raising the taxes here in Muskegon County by 1/13 of a mill is all we asked for. 1/13 of a mill, which was a $100,000 house was $3.98 a year. That was all it was. But 3 of the commissioners said, okay, we said, we don't care if you endorse it or don't endorse it. All we're asking you to do is put it on the ballot and let us veterans go out there and convince convince the community, our county, that this is a good thing to do. And that's all we asked them to do, and they did it. 1994, we got the millage passed with a 53% approval rating for 5 years. 1998, we went back for a renewal, it passed for 73% approval rating for another 10 years. In 2009, we just went back for the third time for another 10-year renewal, 80% approval rating. So all we ever asked the county commission to do was, let's put it on the ballot, let's see if the veterans and the people who support this community, 83% of families in the United States have a veteran someplace in them. We just felt like it's a good deal. Now, beans, for the beans counters, we bring in millions, with an M, millions of dollars a year in Muskegon County to the veterans that are now getting disability pensions, compensation, VA clinic, all the stuff we have working there. It's a moneymaker, and that's what we want to do in the state of Michigan, is to kind of put the same thing in place so we can go out there and tap all these guys who haven't got a clue, and gals, and women are the worst because they don't even think about applying for their VA benefits. They just don't even do it. As to get that money, move us from 53rd up to about 11th or 12th. I like to be number 1. That would be fine. And that's federal money that's coming back to our community. In Muskegon County, there's not a single veteran with post-traumatic stress or traumatic brain injury being treated by our community mental health. Not one. We're all being treated by the VA right there in our clinic. And that just freed up hundreds of thousands of dollars of local money that was being spent to treat those individuals, which is a federal matter, not a county matter. So it works. Everybody benefits from it. I mean, like I said, beans for bean counters. But the bottom line is that vet who served their country should be able to walk into their community, get to an office, file for all the benefits they can file for, get the assistance that they need without leaving the community. And then when that money starts rolling in, the community benefits by it. Everybody wins. Everybody